Is Putin just making an excuse to not end the war?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to he doesn't see any reason. There's certainly nothing compelling him to enter into negotiations. His armed forces are moving slowly but forward nonetheless on the battlefield. There's been no real new cost imposed on him. The threat of secondary sanctions, mostly on the Indians for being the second largest customer of Russian oil since the invasion in 2022, and of course China not only for energy, but its continued support in industrial equipment and perhaps even military hardware to Russia's war machine. So until that gravy train is threatened, I don't see much there for Putin to want to enter into any negotiations. There's no benefit for him right now. And so I think the time has come for a little bit more pain before any entry into negotiations likely.
Well, I've been saying that no matter how the war ends, Trump is going to be blamed, even though it's going to likely be, you know, multilateral with our NATO partners. But no one's ever going to say, well, it's Trump's fault how it ended. But I mean, they're not going to say it's Biden and Obama's fault for how it began. I mean, when they say, well, why can't Trump negotiate the return of Crimea? I don't know. They've had it for 11 years. The time to block the Russians was in 2014. The time to rearm the Ukrainians was in October of 2021, not in February 2022, when they already crossed the border with an even greater force. But all of this is getting laid at Trump's feet as if somehow he's responsible.
Yeah. I don't think history is going to be kind to President Biden. He made numerous mistakes, and his cabinet team and his national security team refused to see what was clearly building on the border in Russia for many months, not just in December of 2021, but going back to the spring of 2021 as well. They refused to act, and then they made every wrong calculation out of fear of escalation that made it impossible for the Ukrainians to have enough cost or to win in that fight when it was still possible in the early months of that war. But at the end of the day, you know, agreements were made in 94. Russians agreed that they would acknowledge and respect the borders of Ukraine. They clearly broke that. But the Ukrainians know the Russians. They should have taken better care of their own defenses starting in 1994. And it's a lesson to the world that if you do not take seriously your own defense, no one else will, and you suffer the consequences as the Ukrainian people are right now.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.